I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, I'm delighted to introduce you to a very talented author. Her name is Shirley Johnston. She has written a book called Peter's Power. It is a heartwarming story revolving around a young man named Peter, a boy from a modest background who displays great kindness and ingenuity. When he meets a new classmate, Mark, who faces similar financial struggles, Peter goes beyond just sharing his lunch. He devises a plan to help not only Mark, but also others in need. Johnson's tale is a beautiful exploration of compassion, resourcefulness, and the impact that one person can have in their community. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. We ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her lovely book. Shirley, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
I thank you too, Logan. I really thank you for that.
My pleasure. This is quite a world you've created with Peter's Power, where one kid can truly make a difference. How did you ever come up with the idea? What inspired the story?
You know, I love to tell children stories. I think you teach a lot to children through stories. It gives them a lot of guidance and help when they have issues at school or playing grounds or wherever they are. So I love to tell kids stories, and I've had this passion for many years to tell kids little stories to help them in life. And I told this story to my grandson, Dylan. He has a picture of him right here.
He's a handsome young man.
Yeah. And he's now 14 today, but I told him the story when he was 5. And he really loved the story. It really touched his heart. And he said to me, Granny, I really want you to make that story into a book.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, sure, one day I'll do so. And I did it this year, May 23. And he really encouraged me all this time. Granny, when are you going to do that book? When are you going to do that book? So now I've done the book. And on actually telling the story, I didn't realize just how much it related to social insecurity at the time, and how social insecurity can actually affect children.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
They need to have stability in their life. They need a nest that they can count on. But when there's financial instability, food instability, housing instability, all of that really wreaks havoc on their lives. So coming up with answers for those kind of issues are very, very important. Let's give the folks at home the big picture. Tell them the story of Peter and his friend Mark.
Okay, so the way it starts is Peter comes from a very modest family, but their parents work really hard. The father's a shoemaker, the mother being a bread maker, and but they're a very close unit family, and they move to a new town, and Peter goes to a new school, and his father encourages him to work hard, listen to your teacher, do your best, and everything will work out well. And so he goes to school, and he had a great day. He loved his teacher, he loved his friends. But when it came to lunchtime, he felt very insecure because all the children had so much to eat, but he didn't have. He only had 2 slices of bread. With that, the children noticed he's probably feeling a bit insecure, and so they started to tease him. He then went home and shared this with his parents, and being great parents, they kind of pulled around him and sat him down and listened to his problem and advised him that when you go to school tomorrow, you tell your friends how your parents work really hard. Your mother makes your bread for you, and she makes it with lots of love. And I make your shoes for you, which he does. He goes to school, and he kind of tells the children this, and they accept it. And he even shows off his shoes in the book of how his dad makes his special shoes and his bread. And to two weeks or so go past, and another little boy starts at his school called Mark. And Mark, unfortunately, is in a really difficult position and feeling very insecure, not knowing what the future will hold for him, because both his parents are out of work and there's just no food. So Peter sees this little boy sitting on the opposite side of the ring, and this actually helps Peter to have confidence in himself, because he has this deep compassion. He knows where this child's at. And so he gets up and he goes across the room and sits with Mark and shares his lunch with him. He gives him a slice of bread and listens to Mark. And here's Mark's story about how his parents are out of work and how they, not able to provide food. With that, Peter is so keen to help this little boy, and he tells him, the next day I'm bringing you your own lunchbox. And so great friendship develops between them, and how the mother gives Peter such great guidance in providing to this little boy, and how to, it's so great that you are sharing with this little boy and caring for this little boy and seeing this little boy in the position that he's in and helping him. So I'm trying to bring that out in Peter, the caringness, and how all children should care for others around them that are in that position, right? And so the mother encourages him, and then from there, the mother then starts making bread for Mark's family, and then the teacher comes to take the bread to Mark's family, and she buys a pair of shoes from the father, and how she shares it with the staff at work, and they start speaking to the community, and how it becomes such a big community bond for everyone to help this family. And they help Peter, and they help Peter's mother, and their business starts to grow. And then Peter's dad and mom, in appreciation, they actually offer jobs to Mark's family, and they become very good friends, and their businesses grow, and they have a shoe factory and a bakery. And this shows Peter and Mark how good it is to not see yourself in a negative way, see yourself in a positive way, and see that you can make it. You don't have to have much to help someone, and that you can make it in this world just by seeing good in yourself. Exactly. And seeing how hard their parents work to get where they've got, So that was the gist of the whole story.
It's a great story, and it's such great values for children to take away from this, that you can make a huge difference in a person's life. You can make a huge difference in a community by doing simple things, by hard work, by ingenuity, by caring. All of those things are great values for children to learn about in your book. And I guess that's what you're hoping they'll take away from it.
Yes, that's what I'm really hoping. And like Dylan said to me too, that Granny is such a good book because it also teaches children not to look down on others, to help them, so that's good too, because so many kids are very quick to judge other kids instead of seeing what position they're in,
Exactly. And also developing a sense of empathy. You feel, compassion towards other people who have less than you. I also like the jobs that people had, shoemaker, baker, adds like a classic children's story theme to it, don't you think?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And also it kind of just demonstrates to children, it doesn't matter what occupation you have in life, you can succeed.
Exactly. Have you envisioned this perhaps as an animated feature or something, or a live action feature?
I would like to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I really would like to do that, because I think it's a great story for children to, my little granddaughter, she's 5. She'll be 5 this December. And often when I read her books, and I read Peter's Power to her, she says, So who can I help at school today?
That's great. That's great. To inspire that kind of change is wonderful. Are you working
Yeah,
on any other books right now?
I do have another book that I've
Mhm.
written, and I'm really keen to have it published. This is not about children, it's about two little elephants, actually. I'm
Okay.
originally from Africa.
Uh-huh.
So this is a story about two little elephants, but I have another story about uh, two little boys too at
Wonderful.
school.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad to see you've got future projects working up in your brain and working on your typewriter, and that we can expect more of your fantastic work. This story
Thank you,
is called,
Logan.
oh, my pleasure. This story is called
Yeah.
Peter's Power. It is a heartwarming tale that revolves around Peter, who has a friend named Mark. Mark is facing some financial struggles, as is his family, and Peter goes way beyond sharing his lunch and comes up with an innovative plan to make things right. It's a great story. It's an inspiring story. Feels a whole lot like a classic story, which of course I think this is destined to be. Shirley, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Logan, for having me on Spotlight. I
Oh, my
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
I
And
appreciate your time.
for marketing the book as well. I
Absolutely,
really appreciate
absolutely.
that.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.